This is lesson 19-7, Measures of Variability. Our essential question, given a set of data, how can you decide its variability? So here is a good definition with some ways that we measure variability. We have 3 vocab words. Absolute deviation is the distance between each data value and the mean. The mean absolute deviation is the mean of the absolute deviation of a set of data. And the interquartile range, also known as IQR, is the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile, which we just learned about in the last lesson. Example 1. Find the sum. Sum means when you add of the absolute deviations from the mean. Okay. Here's what we do. Our first step is to first find the mean. Remember, to find the mean, you add up all your numbers and divide by how many numbers there are. So I would add up all my numbers. Which gives me 63. And then I divide 63 by how many numbers there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers in this set. So I divide it by 9. And we know 63 divided by 9 is 7. So the mean is 7. You should have known how to do that. We did that in a previous lesson. Now what we have to do is find the absolute deviations from the mean. So we know the mean is 7. All we do is we take every single one of our numbers, and if it's smaller than 7, we subtract it from 7. And if it's bigger from 7, we take that number and subtract 7. So for example, I'm going to start with the number 4, the first one. And I take my mean, which is 7, so I just do 7 minus 4, which is 3. Do the next number, which is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. I have another 5, but I still have to do it again. And of course, I get 2 again. Now I go to my next number, which is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Next number is 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. Now when I start to get into numbers that are greater than my mean is 7, I just use the bigger numbers first. So the next number is 8. So now it's 8 minus 7 is 1. I do it again. 8 minus 7, 1. Next number is 10. So 10 minus 7 is 3. And one last time, 10 minus 7 is 3. Basically, when they say absolute deviation, they mean how far away, like think about a number line. How far away on a number line are these numbers from your mean? So how far away are they from 7 in this case? Now, last step, since they wanted us to find the sum, we add up all of our answers that we just got. Okay, so 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3. Which gives us 16 as our final answer. Example 2, find the mean absolute deviation. Okay, remember we first start by finding the mean of the numbers. So the same numbers from example number 1. We've already found the mean, which was 7. And we also found the sum of the mean deviations, which was 16. So pretty much we're just using that information. But instead, last time we found the sum, which was 16. But now they don't want the sum. They want the mean. So all we do is we take 16, the sum. It's just like finding the regular mean, where you have to add up all the numbers and divide by how many there are. Well, we've already added them up. We've already gotten 16. Now we just divide by how many numbers there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. So we divide by 9. Add a decimal and a 0. And it's going to keep repeating. So remember, we just put the line over the number. So the mean absolute deviation is 1 7/10 repeating. Number 3, find the interquartile range. So the interquartile range is the difference between the first quartile and the third quartile, which we learned about when we did box plots. So in order to figure that out, let's first do the median. So let's cross off our numbers, one from each side, until we find the median. And our median is 7. So remember to do the first quartile. You look at all the numbers before the median, and you find the median of those numbers. So when we cross them off, we have 2 numbers in the middle, 5 and 5. When we add those up, we're going to get 10. Divided by 2 is still 5. So the first quartile is 5. To find the second quartile, you look at all the numbers after the median, and you find the median of those. So cross them off. We have 8 and 10 in the middle. In between 8 and 10 is 9. So the third quartile would be 9. Now, the last thing we need to do, it says find the range. We know the range is the difference between the biggest number and the smallest number. So 9 minus 5 is 4, which is our interquartile range. And here are 3 practice problems. I know this was a little difficult, but go back and re-watch the examples if you need help. The first one, you're finding the sum of the absolute deviations from the mean, just like we did in example 1. Number 2, you're finding the mean absolute deviation, like example 2. And number 3, you're finding the interquartile range, like example 3. So please go back and re-watch those if you need to. Don't forget a word problem or a question, and rate your understanding.